The Jordan Show on YouTube.
Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to explore the world of RFCs.
Okay.
They might sound a bit dry at first glance, like a bunch of technical documents, but trust me, there's way more to them than meets the eye. These documents are like the internet's instruction manual.
Yeah.
They shape everything from how we send emails to how we stream videos. And believe it or not, they can be surprisingly funny too.
You see, understanding RFCs is like taking a peek behind the curtain of the internet. It's a glimpse into the evolution of this incredible technology and the brilliant minds who built it, with all their quirks and humor.
Okay, so maybe not everyone is as excited about RFCs as we are, but stick with us. Why should our listener care about these documents?
Now think about it. You use the internet every day,
Yeah.
right? But how often do you stop to think about how it actually works? RFCs are the key to unlocking that mystery. They lay out the standards and protocols that make all this digital magic possible.
All right, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is an RFC?
RFC stands for Request for Comments. And it's basically a document published by the Internet Engineering Task Force, or IETF. You can think of the IETF as a global community of experts who work together to develop and maintain the Internet's infrastructure.
So these RFCs are like the rules of the road for the internet.
Exactly. They're the blueprints that define how different parts of the Internet communicate with each other. Everything from the format of an email to the way your browser connects to a website is governed by these standards.
And the really cool thing is that these RFCs are publicly accessible, right? Anyone can go online and read them.
That's right.
It's like a testament to the open and transparent nature of the internet.
It also means that the Internet isn't controlled by any single entity. It's a collaborative effort, and RFCs are a reflection of that.
Now, I imagine creating these standards is a pretty serious process. Is it like some top secret operation in a hidden bunker?
Not quite. It's actually surprisingly open and collaborative. It starts with someone drafting a proposal, which is basically an early version of the RFC. Then it goes through rounds of discussion and revision, where experts in the field weigh in and refine the ideas.
So it's not just one person dictating how things should be. It's a group effort to reach a consensus.
Precisely, and that's one of the things that makes RFCs so robust. They've been thoroughly vetted by the people who actually build and use the internet.
Okay, walk us through the steps. How does an idea become an official internet standard?
Well, there are 6 main stages. First comes the drafting, where someone with an idea writes up the initial proposal. Then it's on to discussion and revision, where experts provide feedback.
I'm guessing this involves a lot of back and forth.
Oh, absolutely. It can get pretty intense. But it's all part of the process of ensuring the standard is as clear and comprehensive as possible. And if the proposal comes through an IETF working group, it can become a focused project for that group. Then comes the review and consensus building stage, where the draft is scrutinized at multiple levels. There are community discussions, formal evaluations by senior IETF members, and even a last call for final feedback from the wider internet community.
So it's not just about getting the technical details right. It's about ensuring everyone has a chance to weigh in and that the standard has broad support.
Right. Only after passing these hurdles can the RFC be officially published. But that doesn't mean it's automatically an internet standard.
There are different levels of RFCs.
Yes. Some are informational, like explanations of existing technologies. Some are experimental, proposing new ideas that haven't been fully tested. And then there are those that aim to become official internet standards.
So it's like a hierarchy.
Exactly. Reaching internet standard status is like reaching the summit. It means the RFC has been widely implemented and is considered part of the core infrastructure of the internet. To get there, an RFC goes through different maturity levels, starting as a proposed standard, then moving up to draft standard as it gains wider adoption. And finally, if it's truly successful, it achieves the prestigious Internet Standard designation.
That's quite a journey for a document to go through.
It is, and it reflects the meticulous care that goes into shaping the internet we use every day.
It also makes you realize how much collaboration is involved. It's not just a few tech giants calling the shots.
Absolutely. It's a global effort driven by a shared desire to make the internet work for everyone, and this collaborative spirit, It also extends to a more lighthearted aspect of RFCs.
Oh, you mean the internet sense of humor? I've heard whispers about these joke RFCs.
Yes. It's a bit of a tradition within the IETF community. On April Fool's Day, they publish these humorous RFCs that often poke fun at the complexities of the internet.
So it's like the internet's version of April Fool's pranks, but with a technical twist.
Exactly. And while they're meant to be funny, They often cleverly highlight real-world challenges or spark creative problem-solving in a way that traditional RFCs might not.
Can you give us an example? What kind of jokes are we talking about here?
One of the most famous ones is RFC 1149, titled A Standard for the Transmission of IP Datagrams on Avian Carriers.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about carrier pigeons delivering internet packets?
You got it. The RFC humorously describes how bird speed would affect transmission rates and how predators could cause packet loss.
That's brilliant. They're using humor to point out the potential pitfalls of relying on, shall we say, unconventional methods of data transmission. I mean, imagine waiting for a pigeon to fly across the country with your email.
And they even followed it up with RFC 2549, which adds quality of service considerations for avian networks. It goes deeper into the joke, exploring how to prioritize certain pigeon-delivered packets. For example, what if you needed to send an urgent message? You'd want to make sure that pigeon had priority over the ones carrying cat videos.
That's incredible. So even in their humor, they're thinking about real-world networking challenges.
That's what makes these joke RFCs so fascinating. They're not just silly gags. They often have a deeper meaning and can spark interesting discussions about technology.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these joke RFCs aren't just for laughs. They're a way to engage with these complex ideas in a more lighthearted and approachable way.
Exactly. They're like thought experiments disguised as jokes. Sometimes they even anticipate real-world issues. For instance, did you know that RFC 1149, the one about carrier pigeons, was actually tested in real life?
Wait, seriously, someone actually tried sending internet packets with pigeons?
Yes. In 2001, a group of Norwegian Linux enthusiasts sent 9 packets over a distance of about 3 kilometers using pigeons. They even compared the transmission times to a standard ADSL connection.
And how did the pigeons fare?
Well, let's just say the ADSL connection won by a landslide.
Yeah.
The pigeons had a packet loss rate of over 50%, and the average transmission time was close to an hour.
I can't even imagine trying to browse the web with that kind of latency. But it's a testament to the spirit of experimentation that someone actually put this joke RFC to the test.
It really is.
Yeah.
It shows that these RFCs can inspire people to think outside the box and to approach technology with a sense of playfulness.
Speaking of playful RFCs, let's talk about another one that caught my eye, RFC 2324, which introduced the
Why?
Hypertext Coffee Pot Control Protocol, or HTC-PCP.
Ah, yes, HTC-PCP, the protocol that allows you to control your coffee pot over the internet.
A coffee pot on the internet. What will they think of next?
Well, it's not a real protocol, in the sense that you can't actually go out and buy an HTC-PCP-enabled coffee pot. But the RFC itself is a brilliant satire of the way we use technology and how we sometimes overcomplicate things.
So it's poking fun at the Internet of Things before it was even really a thing.
Exactly. It highlights the absurdity of connecting every mundane object to the internet just because we can.
And there's that famous 418 I'm a teapot error code that's become a bit of a legend in the web development world.
Right. This error code was actually defined in RFC 2324 as a response to an attempt to brew coffee with a teapot.
So even though the protocol itself is a joke, the error code has found its way into real-world applications.
It has. It's a great example of how these joke RFCs can have an unexpected impact on the tech world.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. These joke RFCs are more than just funny. They're like little windows into the culture of the internet and the people who build it.
That's a great observation. They reveal a sense of community, a willingness to laugh at ourselves, and a desire to make technology more human.
It's like they're saying, hey, this internet thing is pretty amazing, but let's not take it too seriously.
Exactly. It's a reminder that technology should serve us, not the other way around.
All right, I'm completely sold on the brilliance of jerk RFCs. Can you give us one more example before we move on?
Sure. How about RFC 3251, which describes a binary tree file system?
Binary trees. That sounds a bit complicated.
It is, and intentionally so. The RFC proposes a file system structure that's so bizarre and inefficient, it's almost unusable.
So they're using humor to make a point about the importance of good design.
Exactly. They're highlighting the absurdity of complexity for complexity's sake. The binary tree file system is a caricature of a poorly designed system, one that's convoluted and difficult to navigate.
It's like a warning to engineers everywhere. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple.
Precisely. Good design should be elegant and intuitive, not a labyrinth of unnecessary complexity.
This has been so eye-opening. I never realized how much thought and humor goes into something as seemingly mundane as internet protocols.
It's one of the things that makes the internet so fascinating. It's a reflection of human ingenuity. and our ability to find humor even in the most technical of subjects.
So we've talked a lot about joke RFCs, but I'm curious, what are some of the most important serious RFCs that have shaped the internet as we know it?
Well, one of the most foundational RFCs is RFC 791, which defines the Internet Protocol, or IP. This is the protocol that allows computers to communicate with each other across the internet.
So without RFC 791, we wouldn't have the internet as we know it.
Exactly. It's the bedrock upon which everything else is built. Another crucial RFC is RFC 793, which defines the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP.
Okay, and what does TCP do?
TCP works hand in hand with IP to ensure that data is transmitted reliably across the internet. It breaks down data into packets, numbers them, and reassembles them at the destination, ensuring that everything arrives in the correct order and without errors.
So TCP is like the quality control manager of the internet.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Make sure that your emails, your web pages, your video streams all arrive intact and in the right order.
So together, IP and TCP form the backbone of the internet.
Precisely. They're the two most fundamental protocols that make everything else possible.
This is incredible. I'm starting to understand just how intricate and interconnected the internet really is.
It is. And these RFCs are the blueprint that holds it all together.
Now, I'm wondering about the people who write these RFCs. Are they all super serious tech wizards? Or do they have a sense of humor, too?
Well, as we've seen with the joke RFCs, they definitely have a sense of humor. But they're also incredibly knowledgeable and dedicated individuals who are passionate about making the internet better.
So it's a mix of technical brilliance and creativity.
Exactly. They're problem solvers, innovators, and collaborators who are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And do they come from all over the world?
Absolutely. The IETF is a global organization with participants from every corner of the planet.
That's amazing. It's a testament to the unifying power of technology.
It really is. The internet is a testament to what we can achieve when we work together across borders and cultures.
So what would you say to someone who's listening to this and thinking, wow, I want to learn more about RFCs. Where do I start?
Well, the best place to start is the IETF website. They have a comprehensive archive of all published RFCs, both serious and humorous. You can search by keyword, RFC number, or browse by category.
So if someone wants to dive into the world of joke RFCs, they could just search for April Fools and see what pops up.
Exactly. And there are also many online communities and forums dedicated to discussing RFCs, where you can find recommendations and connect with other enthusiasts.
It sounds like there's a whole community of RFC nerds out there, just waiting to welcome newcomers.
There is. And it's a very welcoming and supportive community. It's a great place to learn, ask questions, and share your own discoveries.
So to sum it up, RFCs are more than just technical documents. They're a reflection of the internet's history, its culture, and its values.
That's a great way to put it. They're a window into the soul of the internet.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the serious business of internet standards to the hilarious world of joke RFCs.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope our listener is feeling inspired to explore the world of RFCs for themselves.
Now, I'm curious, what about you? Do you have a favorite joke RFC?
That's a tough one. There are so many great ones, but I have a soft spot for RFC 1925, which is often called the 12 networking truths.
The 12 networking truths. What are some of these truths?
Well, one of them is it has to work. It sounds obvious, but it highlights the essential nature of networking. If it doesn't work, it's useless.
That's a good one. What else?
Another one is, with sufficient thrust, pigs fly just fine.
Okay, that one's just plain funny.
It is, but it also has a deeper meaning. It reminds us that with enough effort and ingenuity, we can overcome seemingly impossible challenges.
So it's a message of hope for all the engineers out there.
Exactly. It's a reminder that anything is possible if you're willing to think outside the box.
Any other truths you want to share?
Sure. How about this one? Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away.
Ooh, that's a profound one.
It is. It emphasizes the importance of simplicity and elegance in design. Sometimes the best solutions are the ones that strip away all the unnecessary complexity.
So it's a reminder to keep things simple and focus on the essentials.
Exactly. Don't overcomplicate things just because you can.
I'm starting to see why you like this RFC. It's funny, insightful, and even a bit philosophical.
It really is. It's a great example of how humor can be used to illuminate complex ideas and make them more memorable.
All right, RFC 1925 is officially on my reading list.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's a classic for a reason.
Well, I think we've given our listener plenty to think about today.
I hope so. The world of RFCs is vast and fascinating, and there's always something new to discover.
So to our listener, we encourage you to dive in and explore the Internet's instruction manual. You might be surprised by what you find.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to write your own RFC someday.
That's a great idea. Maybe our listener will come up with like a hilarious idea for a pigeon-powered internet protocol.
Or a protocol for controlling their toaster over the internet.
The possibilities are endless. I think it would be fascinating to see what kind of joke RFCs people would come up with today.
I agree. The internet has changed so much since the early days of RFCs. It would be interesting to see how those changes are reflected in new joke RFCs.
Maybe they'd poke fun at the rise of social media or the ubiquity of smartphones.
Or the challenges of online privacy and security in a world where everything is connected.
Speaking of security, we haven't talked much about that side of RFCs. Are there any serious RFCs that deal specifically with internet security?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Security is a huge concern in the world of internet standards. One example is RFC 4949, which defines the Internet Security Glossary. It's like a dictionary of terms and concepts related to internet security.
So it's a way to make sure everyone is speaking the same language when it comes to security.
Exactly. It's essential to have clear definitions and a shared understanding of security threats and vulnerabilities.
That makes sense. What about specific security protocols? Are there any RFCs that have been particularly influential in that area?
One of the most important is RFC 2828, which defines the Internet Security Glossary. It lays out a framework for authenticating users and devices on a network. It's used in a wide range of applications from email to online banking.
So it's all about verifying identities and making sure that people are who they say they are online.
Exactly. Authentication is a crucial part of online security. It helps prevent unauthorized access and protects sensitive information.
So RFCs play a vital role in keeping the internet safe and secure.
They do. They establish the standards and protocols that help protect our data, our privacy, and our online interactions.
It's amazing to think about all the work that goes on behind the scenes to keep the internet running smoothly and securely.
It's a testament to the collaborative spirit of the internet community. People from all over the world working together to solve problems and make the internet a better place.
And sometimes they do it with a sense of humor.
That's what makes the internet so unique.
Mm.
It's a place where serious work and playful creativity can coexist.
Well, I think we've given our listener a pretty good overview of the world of RFCs.
I hope so. We've covered a lot of ground from the history and purpose of RFCs to the process of creating them, and of course the hilarious tradition of joke RFCs.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I've learned a lot along the way.
Me too. It's always a pleasure to delve into the inner workings of the internet.
So to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep laughing. The internet is full of surprises, and RFCs are a great way to discover them.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to contribute to the internet's legacy by writing your own RFC, serious or humorous.
That's a great challenge to leave our listener with. Think about the internet. What aspects of it would you want to standardize or satirize? What would your RFC say?
Let your imagination run wild. The internet is a constantly evolving space, and there's always room for new ideas.
On that note of creative inspiration, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of RFCs.
It's been a pleasure exploring this fascinating topic with you and our listener.
A huge thank you to you for sharing your expertise and insights. You've helped us understand the vital role that RFCs play in shaping the internet.
And thank you to our listener for joining us on this journey. We hope you've gained a newfound appreciation for the intricate and often humorous world of internet standards.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting. The internet is waiting,